Needless to say, India is carefully watching Turkey. In fact, the Indian government has a few aces up its sleeve. When President Erdogan was campaigning against India in New York, Indian diplomats were busy cementing their ties with Turkey's rivals. On the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly, Prime Minister Narendra Modi met with leaders of Cyprus, Armenia and Greece. Why are these countries significant and what do they have in common? These three countries have strained ties with Turkey and they're working together to contain Turkey. This is a clear message to President Erdogan. India has more allies on its side. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar was also leading India's diplomatic campaign from the front. He had an intense schedule in the US. After wrapping up the events in New York, Jaishankar went to Washington, and over the course of 7 days, the External Affairs Minister of India paid a visit to as many as 7 think tanks. You can term this the second part of India's diplomatic campaign. After the Prime Minister's record number of engagements, Foreign Minister Jaishankar furthered India's vision to engage the world beyond Pakistan. Over the course of the last week, he reportedly met 42 foreign ministers. Listen to this carefully, one man. 42 foreign ministers. He was involved in 36 bilateral meetings, 8 pull-asides, 7 multilaterals and 3 speaking engagements. And all this is above and beyond the visit to 7 American think tanks. The purpose behind such record-breaking engagements is twofold. First, to clarify, explain and defend India's position on Kashmir, and second, to offer India's views on global issues. Sample this response by S. Jaishankar when he was asked about India's decision to revoke the special status to Jammu and Kashmir.
Provision in the constitution which gave Kashmir a different status was a temporary provision. Now, here's the funny thing. You rarely read that in the international press. And when I say it's a temporary provision, don't take my word for it. Google the Constitution of India. It's written out there. The word temporary is out there on the heading of the segment as well as the article in question. Now, I think I know you're Australian, but we agree on what the word temporary means. It means something comes to an end. After 70 years, it came to an end.
A clear and firm response by the External Affairs Minister there. Here is the subtext of that statement. By making it clear that Article 370 was a temporary measure, Foreign Minister Jaishankar has fundamentally debunked Pakistan's repeated claims that New Delhi took unilateral action on Kashmir. To sum up, the Indian External Affairs Minister said that India amended its constitution and India has every right to amend its own constitution. The other aspect of India's diplomatic campaign has been to engage with the world on global issues and connect India's progress with the development of humanity at large. Here is Mr. Jaishankar again explaining why it is important for India to achieve the sustainable development goals set out by the United Nations.
I think the big issue before the world and before the United Nations right now is how we're all going to deliver or not on the sustainable development goals. This, I mean, in a sense, I say this. This is an analytical observation. I think whether the world would be successful in achieving SDG targets would be dependent on whether India would be successful, because our numbers are so big.
In fact, the success of Indian diplomacy was visible today on another front. Reports say that the Saudi Arabian Kingdom has backed India on the Kashmir decision. National Security Advisor Ajit Doval met with the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman, today. The Saudi leadership reportedly conveyed to Doval that it understands, quote-unquote, India's approach and actions in Jammu and Kashmir, which is a huge endorsement for India to get, considering Pakistan relies heavily on Saudi Arabia. India so far has been successful in diffusing Pakistan's propaganda on Kashmir on many forums. Beyond Turkey, Malaysia and China, Pakistan is struggling to find allies for its campaign against India, and one could sense the frustration of the Pakistani camp in New York. In fact, the Prime Minister of Pakistan did not even try to hide it. He was quite vocal when he told the press in New York. Imran Khan said that he's disappointed by the international community's response.